2024 Board of Education, Henderson County Board of Education meeting. Did you do that? That was good. Thank you. Maybe y'all could do that every time I open up my mouth. You can turn my microphone on. I always forget to do that. Okay. First, we'll have the presentation of colors. Here we have the West Henderson High School Army Junior ROTC under the leadership of Major Stephen Hill and Chief Warrant Officer Mike Bailey. Please stand up. Please post. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Order. Arms. Center. Face. Forward. March. Right. Face. Forward. March.
Again, that's the West Henderson High School Junior ROTC under the leadership of Major Stephen Hill and Chief Warrant Officer Mike Bailey. And if you would please remain standing for a moment of silence. During this time, please feel free to offer your silent prayers or thoughts in support of the Henderson County public education or engage in silent reflection. And keep in mind, we do have a couple board members that are not here. Wish them well. And please give me a minute. Thank you. Thank you. You may be seated. If the board will please look over the agenda, and I'll take a motion when prepared.
I move we approve the agenda as submitted.
Second.
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes. We have some recognitions. All-State Honors Band and the Family, Career, and Community Leaders of America competition.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Good evening, everyone. We've got a big crowd today. We're honoring a lot of people, and that's always an exciting time here on a beautiful Monday. First, we're going to bring up Dr. Shepard, and he's going to share a little bit about the North Henderson FCCLA State Leadership Conference results. So thank you, Dr. Shepard, for being here.
Thank you, Mr. Garrett, and thank you, members of the board. I appreciate you giving us some time to recognize our students here this evening. At this time, I'd like to call down our teachers down for the Family, Career, and Community Leaders of America state competition. And I think this is definitely worthwhile recognizing their students and these teachers for all of their hard work. So I'd like to call down Miss Audrey King and Miss Natalie Selvey. These are our instructors. Let's give them a round of applause. Miss King's getting trapped over here. She's good.
Sorry.
And then you guys are going to join us over here, and then I'm going to call the students down and mention where they placed and what their event was and kind of the title of their event, and they can stand next to our instructors over here. Miss Raylan Boland for event management, 6th place. Let's give a round of applause to Miss Boland. Jimmy Doth Zabote for career investigation, 4th place in the state. Miss Mariana Flores Diaz for focus on children, 3rd place. Miss Jessica Gearing, 3rd place for teach or train. Miss Taylor Ledbetter, 5th place for interior design. And Miss Angel Rodriguez Ramirez for leadership, 3rd place. Please help me give these students a round of applause.
So next, we'll stick with North Henderson. We have some athletic achievements that we need to share as well. So Dr. Shepard, hang on out with us.
All right, love it. All right, at this time, we're going to recognize Mr. Reese Meadows. So Reese, come on down. We have one of our coaches, wrestling coaches here with us, Mr. Wayne Knock. Let's give them a round of applause. We're recognizing Reese. He finished 3rd in the state 3A tournament. That's 3rd in the NCHSAA state 3A tournament. Reese has a number of other accomplishments. I'm going to hand off to Mr. Wayne Knock because he can list them. Reese is a senior here, and he just got back from Virginia Beach competing at the national tournament there and did very well. He has all kinds of awards and has accomplished a lot. I can say this about Reese beyond the wrestling mat and being all conference in multiple sports. He's a fantastic student, a wonderful leader in our school, and an excellent young man. And so I'm going to let Mr. Wayne Knock add on to his accomplishments via wrestling here. Congratulations, Reese.
Hey, thank you for having us. A couple things to say about Reese. His season was something like 51 wins and 2 losses. I stopped watching after a while. He doesn't listen to his coaches very well, but he's a great kid. In addition to being a fantastic wrestler, he is just a phenomenal team leader. He's a graduate of the Handshake with America program that some of you may be familiar with that is growing here in Henderson County, and he did a great job in that. And he's still making his decisions as far as college between football or wrestling or both, but he's made great grades, great leader. Is going to end up in one of the top 5 careers statistically, and if not for that darn pandemic, who knows where he would have ended up in the career records. But just fantastic kid, better off the mat than on the mat, believe it or not. So, Reese Meadows.
All right, we're going to move on to women's wrestling for North Henderson High School. And so I'm going to call all of our women's wrestlers down. We have Coach John Williams, our head coach for women's wrestling. I'm going to have him come on down. Let's give Coach Williams a round of applause. He is a trailblazer with women's wrestling. And we have a few students who are not on this list, but we invited them to come along with us because they're a big part of our team and getting us to where they were able to accomplish. I'll let Coach Williams kind of touch base there to recognize these students as we get them down. They finished 1st out of all classifications in the state women's wrestling, the very first state tournament they had, and 2nd regional tournament they've ever had. But they do all classifications together, so that's every high school on the western part of the state, and they won that regional championship that was hosted at North. Had all the schools there. It was a fun time, and the Lady Knights brought it back to back regional championships there to all classifications. So we'll recognize these students for their great accomplishments. These ladies are also fantastic students and leaders as well. Miss Gracie Short. Liliana Zapote. Annalie Tinoco. Miss Nancy Perez. Sophie Stepp. Zoe Hipa. Aslan Villafranca. Francesca Morales. Ariana Flores. Miss Reagan Loudermilk. Sophia Williams. Angie Navarro. Miranda Lopez. And Morgan Flynn.
Yes, I just would like to say that these young ladies are just so amazing. We had 19 women on our wrestling team this year, up from 12 that we had last year. Not only were they great on the mat, I think we won every tournament that we went to except two. And one of those is a state tournament, which we finished 10th out of I believe there were 87 schools or something like that represented, so very proud of them. But they're also scholar athletes. I think our team GPA was like 3.4 weighted, something like that. Very smart, very capable women, very strong and powerful, and love everything that they do. We really appreciate our seniors, and I just love them to death. I'd also like to thank Henderson County Public Schools and the board for supporting women's wrestling. Henderson County is a leader in women's wrestling, has been from the very beginning. West Henderson had a very strong team. East Henderson has a very big team, and Hendersonville had more female state qualifiers than they did male state qualifiers. So it's growing, and we appreciate the support and are hoping that we'll keep supporting that in the future. So thank you very much.
And while they get one more photo, I do want to share that this is very historic because this is the very first year that the North Carolina High School Athletic Association has sanctioned women's wrestling as a standalone sport. All other times they've had to do invitationals, and I had the opportunity to make that vote. So I'm very proud that we had a team that has been this successful and has been a pioneer and a leader in this women's sport. So congratulations, lady. Congratulations, coach. Thank you. Next, we'll bring down Dr. John Medeiros to share some good news about Rugby Middle School.
Hello, everyone. I'll ask Layla Hildenbrand and her mom, Stacy Hildenbrand, to join me up front. And as they come up, let me just share a little bit about what Layla has accomplished and how proud of her we are at Rugby. Layla is a wonderful young lady, an excellent student, but Layla has accomplished something at Rugby that has not been something that we've been able to experience for some time. Layla was selected for our all-state band, and Rugby has had several students that have performed well over the past couple years at the all-district level. But for Layla to be on the All-State Band for us is like a state championship. We have an excellent band program led by Mr. Sean Smith, and Layla is a shining example of what we hope many more of our students will accomplish. And so if you'll join me in giving Layla a big round of applause for being on the All-State Band.
Next, we'll ask Mr. Luke Manuel to step up and share some exciting things happening at West Henderson High School.
Thank you to the school board and also senior staff for having us here today. If I can invite Caro Cumby and T. Gatwell down, please. And as long as Mr. Clace, are you here as well? Oh, come on down. Thank you, Mr. Clace. A wonderful band teacher is here too. Well, say congratulations to band members Caro Cumbie and Teague Atwell. After earning top chairs in the all-district band, they earned the opportunity to audition for the all-state level and earned a position in the ensemble. They performed memorized scales, a prepared solo, and sight-read an excerpt that they had never seen before. At the end of April, this April, they will rehearse and perform with the best band students from across North Carolina in concert, led by an esteemed conductor. Caro will be attending Appalachian State next year, majoring in music education, correct? All right, there we go. While he made the all-state band on flute, his primary instrument is he also plays saxophone and clarinet in band class. He made all-state band also in the 8th grade and has been working diligently, taking lessons and trying out every year to finally make it again as his senior year. So congratulations to Caro. Caro achieved marching band stardom, so congratulations. Joined with him today, we had a second person who made it. Teague Atwell, a sophomore, made the all-state band on the trumpet. He also is an accomplished piano player. In addition to his musical talents, he plays basketball and tennis. Teague also enjoys outdoor activities, and all three other siblings have either been in band or will be in band at West Henderson. So I want to say congratulations to both of these individuals for all-state band honors. Next, I would like to invite Emma Hall and her parents down to the front, please. Yeah, y'all can. They're wondering why they're coming down, but I would definitely like to recognize, an outstanding individual, person, and student athlete, Emma Hall. Emma has won multiple state championships in indoor and outdoor track. This past winter, she added to her excellent athletic achievements by winning the indoor 60-meter hurdles championship by running a 7.994 seconds, which is a 3A state record in the state of North Carolina. We are very proud of her work and her achievements, as well as her families. And I'm going to tell you this, Emma is a generational athlete, a very good person who works really hard at her craft. And next year, we'll be going to East Carolina, correct, to further her track career. So congratulations to Emma. And last but not least, our FCCLA chapter competed in Greensboro at the North Carolina FCCLA State Championship, State Leadership Conference to compete against other FCCLA members from across the state. West Henderson's FCCLA competitive events require students to complete projects prior to the conference and present them to panels of judges to be rigorously scored against their peers. These students have been working since the first semester on these projects and represented West Henderson and Henderson County extremely well. All of these students are first-time competitors, and all of them came in the top 3 in the state. So we'd like to recognize the following students. First place, Linda Bryant, job interview event. In first place, Kai Hendricks, repurpose and redesign event. Second place, Monica Fuentes, public policy advocate. Second place, Sarah Kim, chapter service project portfolio. Third place, Annabelle Wilkie, chapter service project display. Another third place finish, JJ Marino, sustainability challenge. I'm going to ask her teacher to come up too, Miss Brittany Willis. Here she comes. Yes. Would like to say a couple other things. Linda, Kai, Monica, and Sarah will represent us at Nationals this summer in Seattle, Washington. We also came home with our second student ever to be voted into the North Carolina FCCLA State Executive Council. Sarah Kim was voted Vice President of Programs and will represent North Carolina throughout the year at various engagements and leadership events. Sarah completed a lengthy application process this winter, was selected to move forward and was tested for her knowledge, gave a speech, went through interviews about leadership, and was voted as the now Vice President of Programs. So congratulations to Sarah as well. Also, our West Henderson FCCLA received a bronze award for the Go for Red membership campaign for our chapter growth, and congratulations as well for that. And also would like to give another shout out to their teacher over there, Ms. Willis, who is a wonderful person and their sponsor, and could not do that without them. So thank you very much for your representation.
So, Mr. Chairman, members of the board, I certainly appreciate the opportunity to share this. It's always a highlight of the meeting when we get to celebrate our students, and I really appreciate them coming out in droves to be celebrated this afternoon, because it's always great to have them here so that we can grab their picture and celebrate their great accomplishments, both in the classroom and all of these extracurriculars that you see before you tonight. So thank you.
And if we could have program highlights, Young Scientist with Tom Savage.
So, Mr. Chairman, as they come up, I think we're going to get a bigger treat because the students are actually doing this presentation, this program highlight tonight. So we'll defer to the stars of the show so y'all can take it away and take us through and teach us about Young Scientists, because this is an exciting opportunity.
The Young Scientists Club at the Henderson County Early College. We are so passionate about science and even more passionate about sharing our love for science with young folks within Hillendale and Bruce Drysdale Elementary. This is the first year of the 5-year Burroughs Welcome Fund event. Through this program, created for 10 elementary schools, we offer classroom science lessons, STEM nights, and mentorship for young students. We are happy to say that we have had a lot of success so far and are thrilled to say that we look forward to keeping this program, as we believe that it is a valuable asset to our community and future and schools. All right, next is the outreach program, outreach student events.
Hello, my name is Keith, this is Annie, and this is Heidi. STEM nights are exciting events held a few times each semester where parents bring their children to explore various STEM-related activities and demonstrations. As the Young Scientist Club, our goal is to create and provide engaging activities to inspire young minds. So we've been actively involved in many of these STEM nights at Bruce Drysdale and Hillendale. Since all ages of elementary school students attend these events, we plan, create, and help out with certain activities accordingly. For instance, at Bruce Drysdale, students were able to experience the thrilling event that is launching air out of air bazookas at Stacks of Cups. And at Hillendale, students were able to learn about the digits of pi with a bracelet designing station. And these STEM night stations are not only entertaining, but educational, and that allows for students to get a love and curiosity for science.
We also help out during school hours with teaching science activities at Hillendale and Bruce Drysdale. We've helped out with science stations and even just helping the kids with their science fair projects. An example of one of the during school events we've done is we helped Bruce Drysdale fifth graders create their own anemometers that we tested in front of a fan and outside. They all collected their own data and drew their own conclusions based on the evidence they gathered with our help. We've been volunteered at many STEM-focused outreaches so far, and we have a few more to go until the end of the school year.
Because of the grant Mr. Savage has received, we have been able to buy supplies for our events. One of these supplies includes a wireless temperature probe. We use these probes in the classrooms, and they have allowed us to have accurate data, and this helps the kids' understanding of science. Our events have also helped the kids demonstrate their newfound love and knowledge of science, and it has increased their desire to want to learn. And we hope to continue their interest by having fun STEM-related activities with them. All right, next is Pen Pals. This is Julie, Dean, Hannah, and Carla.
Welcome, guys.
Imagine a young child curious about the world, maybe a little intimidated by the idea of science. Now imagine them receiving a colorful card filled with a friendly message and a fun science question from one of our high school students. That's the magic of our Pen Pal program.
These cards are more than just greetings. They're bridges between our schools. The elementary school students connect with our older students who are excited to learn about science. And they learn that science is more than just learning about tests and textbooks, but more about curiosity, educating themselves, and finding answers to fascinating questions.
In the cards that we send, we ask engaging questions, and these questions spark the students' imaginations and get them thinking scientifically from a young age. And we receive equally enthusiastic responses from these kids. Their answers are heartwarming, creative, and full of a genuine thirst for knowledge. It's a joy to see their excitement about science growing with each exchange of cards.
This Pen Pal program goes beyond science. The Pen Pals become role models. The younger students see teenagers genuinely interested in their ideas and questions, in which builds confidence and a sense of connection across the age gap. As students, by investing our time into this Pen Pal program, we are investing in the future of science education for our community. We are fostering a love for science in young students' minds and encouraging them to see themselves as young scientists. We are creating a network of young, passionate students connected by the love for learning of science and curiosity.
Okay, and next we're going to be talking about how this club has affected ESL kids. My name is Brittany.
And my name is Angie, and we know what it feels like to not be able to understand your teachers and classmates. You're not confident and you're scared to ask questions. But with this club, ESL students can ask questions without it feeling like an inconvenience.
During our time at Bruce Drysdale, we got the honor of meeting Ms. Thompson. She made accommodations towards these students, including translating her lessons from English to Spanish. She serves as motivation for Spanish-speaking volunteers to make those accommodations as well, now and in the future.
Because the lessons are being taught in 2 different languages, ESL students are able to confidently participate in different stations, ask and answer questions, and communicate with other volunteers. At times, ESL students can become reserved and isolated in the classroom because of the language barrier. This means they're not engaging with their classmates and teachers, and in a learning environment, this can be bad. But with the help of more volunteers, ESL students can become more confident in themselves.
Again, with the lesson being taught in 2 different languages, it also helps them expand their vocabulary and learn translations from English to Spanish. In conclusion, this club has allowed learning to not only be more inclusive, but also allowed questions for questions in any language.
So lastly, we'll be talking about our future plans. I'm Gabriella, and this is Diana. As the Young Scientist group has expanded, we have watched our love for science flourish and grow throughout these past couple of months. The Young Scientist group will continue to learn and make changes for the better of our generations. We hope to have an even bigger group of students next year, rotating through the elementary schools and have a leader supervising each school or group. Soon as the next school year rolls around, our club will begin reaching out to our 2 new elementary schools, Upward and Dana. There will be a total of 4 new teachers who will be receiving new supplies and, of course, our volunteers. The Young Scientist Club will do this with our current budget of $7,000 or $3,500 per school. The supplies will be utilized in the classroom along with STEM nights.
We hope to see our club continue with their current events such as pen pals, STEM nights, lesson plans, and more. Some goals for the entirety of our program are strengthening their outreaches and science activities, compiling existing lessons with the ones we've used this year, and sharing them with our new elementary schools. As Gabby said earlier, we have seen tremendous amounts of growth with these kids throughout the program, but we hope to see them grow even further. The children allowed the club as a whole to reflect on themselves and ultimately lead to our success. Thank you for your time. We, the Young Scientists Club, believe this program is a valuable asset to our school and our community. And we ask for your continued support in the program and the scientific curiosity of our students. Thank you.
So if I may, that's my favorite presentation I've seen since I've been here. That's the greatest program highlight we've had. And it's because of you all and your interaction with these younger students. I think this has been a long goal of mine to see our more senior students working with our elementary students in order to make those connections. And I would be remiss if I didn't bring Mr. Savage up because he's the cause of all this. So come on up, Mr. Savage. So we typically don't take a big picture of our program highlights, but I want all of the students to step over here with Mr. Savage and get your picture made, please.
Very good.
And to answer a question that you didn't ask, we are absolutely going to continue supporting this. Absolutely. This is something that we want to see go all across the district and all across the community so that you can mentor those younger kids and get them excited about hands-on science. So thank you, Mr. Savage, for your leadership. Thank you, Ms. Farley, for getting all these young people here. And I know you're sitting back there with great pride, but thank you to those of you who put this together, but mainly for taking the chance to work with our younger kids and be a shining light to them. So thank you very much.
And next, we have board members' observations.
I just want to say it's so exciting to see all the amazing students coming here today, and it makes us feel really bright about Henderson County's future when you see those students. That Young Scientist program is phenomenal. I wish we could have it in every elementary school. So thank you.
And I want to echo that. It is just so rewarding to see our young people. This is what it's all about. And to see these young athletes and students flourish and grow and take leadership opportunities, that's what we're all about. And I would be remiss if I didn't say a shout out to North Henderson High School. Mrs. Dale and I visited there last week on our school tour, and once again, just seeing the leadership opportunities that those students do on a daily basis. We got to visit the Leader in Me leadership class. I don't know what we call it, but that's what I would call it. And those young people, make no mistake, they are ready to tackle the world. And it's just so rewarding. And that doesn't happen by chance. It happens with a lot of work on the part of our teachers. You know, many of these things we talk about, how much does a coach make? How much do sponsors that sponsor these after-school activities make an hour? Maybe 3 cents an hour that they put in. And I just want to thank our teachers and our adults working with our students to go the extra 10 miles to provide these wonderful opportunities. And also with our parents and community, we can't do it without the collaboration of all groups. So it's just very rewarding to see this.
So Dr. Revis and I did, we were able to attend North Henderson High School, and the students are always the highlight. And I have to read because I can go off on a rabbit trail sometimes, yeah. So it's always a pleasure to see what they're doing. And Gary Blackwell, is over the Ag Department at North Henderson High School. And he opened the door for us to go into the greenhouse. And it was to see the fruits of the children, the students, their labor, the beautiful, healthy trays of flowers and vegetables are literally waiting for you guys to purchase next month to put in your yard to tend. So if you'll be watching for all the signs around, I think it's north, east, and west for the plant sale, go and support them because they are really beautiful plants. They are, and it's a great pat on the back, pat on the shoulder for them. For a job well done. I would also like to say that I'm going to identify myself as this. I am a bride of Christ, and I'm not a widow. I am the daughter of a king, and I'm not an orphan. And so based on that alone, some of you guys are going, well, what does that mean? There's been some controversy over the material that we voted in a couple of months ago that I have come across, and I'm not very happy with it. Needless to say, I've got quite a bit of information, but at the advice of the attorney, I will be meeting with Mr. Garrett and Dr. Marlowe this week to go over the things that I have found and hopefully not find more. So I just wanted to put that out there and let everyone know that this is not the end game for this. I'm not okay with this material. It's too controversial, and I'll let it go at that. Okay?
Thank you. And now we have some public comments. First, Joan Sinaik. Have I said that right? About the moment of silent reflection? Close enough? Welcome. Thank you, ma'am.
Hi, I'm Joan Sanyuk. That's closer
Sorry.
than many people. You got it closer than many people do.
Okay, good.
I want to thank you for having a moment of silent reflection, and I especially want to thank you for leaving it wide open for people to pray or center themselves however they wish. I happen to be a Christian minister, but when I come to this meeting, I'm here as a citizen, and what holds us together as citizens is the Constitution, the Declaration of Independence, and I'm passionate about everybody's freedom of religion. So I appreciate your calling for a moment of reflection in a way that makes space for everybody, no matter what their beliefs or lack of beliefs are. So thank you.
Thank you. And Sherilyn Steketee. God, I'm trying. Again, about moment of silent reflection.
It gets murdered all the time.
Sorry. Maybe I shouldn't even try, but I want to try.
Sherilyn Steketee. I'm a resident of Henderson County and a graduate of Anderson Newton Theological School. I have a master's in divinity. And I think the moment of reflection is like this afternoon when millions of people put on their safety glasses and looked up at something that was beautiful and wondrous and awe-striking. And we were all together in that moment, no matter what we thought or what we believed. We just put on those goofy little glasses and we looked up. And it was quiet and it was silent. Having a sectarian prayer, whether it be Hindu or Buddhist or Muslim or Catholic or Baptist, is like having a bunch of boxes of those special glasses and only sharing them with the people in your own group. Thank you.
Thank you. And I'm not going to do this one. It's Betty L. Blakely. Oh, it looks like Betty B.
How about
Blackerby. Yes, I'm sorry.
That'll do.
Bad encouragement. Sorry, ma'am. It looked like it was Betty B. the last name.
Well, I was in
Sorry.
a hurry.
Sorry. Welcome.
I'm a community member here in Hendersonville, and my request, I think, is pretty simple. I'm asking if you could please record the Board of Education budget workshop that you're having April the 15th at 9 a.m. I recognize the workshop is during the school day. That means that full-time school employees and other community members who work during the day can't attend the meeting. I think it would be beneficial for school employees and the community to have access to that meeting for better understanding of the budget-making process and the Board of Education's decision-making. Thank you.
Thank you. And next, we have Joyce Marsteller on encouragement as well.
Thank you so much for giving the opportunity to come and speak to all of you. And, oh my, you dwindled down. We had a whole bunch, and now there's, just a few. But there are many people here who have desires to see their agenda carried out. And I understand that. But my agenda is his, and he has the answer. And we have a rule book that you can go by. It's called the Bible. And I know that we are America, and we must open things up to all kinds of beliefs and learn. But we have come to a place where we're, as Christians, sometimes put down and not wanting to have our voices heard, because the community is so wide open to everything that it's too, how do I want to say, it's not too diverse, because we like diversity, but we want it ordered, and we want it in something that we can all come in contact with and all become one in. And that's good. And even though I might not agree with what anyone says, I would stand for them to say it. Unless, of course, they want to kill somebody or, something like that. But if it were just the truth that they believe, I don't care. They should be able to say it. And I'm so proud of our students. They have been, I've come for several months now, and I'm just overwhelmed with the really good kids that we are producing here in this community. And it's because of the school board is the head. And then there comes your principals, and then your teachers, and then the students. And it's a good head that we have on our shoulders. Keep it. And remember, the things that are important to you, make sure they're important to him as well. Kindness, being good to each other, or just reaching out when you see someone hurting. I think about our two that are gone, and I've lifted them in prayer and asked that you would as well, particularly Richard Bridges, and I asked Father God that he would have a speedy recovery and be back home before you know it, and better than ever. and we thank you for what you're doing here and the time and encouragement that you have to put up with a lot of people that, come at you during the day and may speak things into you that hurt. And I ask for protection for you. I ask that you would just be able to receive what you hear and then let it not go into you, but go up, and he'll take care of it for you. Thank you. Have a very blessed evening. Forward. Come on.
Thank you. And Miss Mary Hardval about public funding, fully funding the budget? Did I say that right?
You're very good.
Oh, I thought you'd say very close again.
You were very good.
Okay.
Okay. Good afternoon. My name is Mary Hardfall, and I'm a member of Public Schools Strong, as you could see. Carol Cannon, a sister member, could not be here today because of the birth of a grandson. And so on Carol's behalf, I'm honored to deliver her important message to you for all our children. As you begin to work on the 2024-2025 budget next week, I thank you for providing free breakfasts and lunches to all students in the Henderson County School District for this school year. This was a deliberate decision on your part, and it has paid great dividends. More students are eating the meals provided, which means they can focus on learning and not on the hunger in their stomachs, nor the embarrassment of getting a free lunch while others do not. I urge you to continue that program for the coming school year. And yet, you and I both know that benefit is lost if the schools don't have bus drivers to bring the kids to school, cafeteria workers to provide the meals, teachers and aides to lead and teach the students, counselors and nurses to tend to their emotional and medical needs, custodians to keep the buildings clean and well-maintained, and administrators to manage the overall organization of the school. That means that you need the money in the budget to pay all the teachers, faculty, and staff well. People are leaving the profession because they can't provide for their families on the salaries that school workers, including teachers, are paid. The amount of money you have to work with is largely determined by the General Assembly. Therefore, I ask each of you as school board members to contact our state legislators, Senator Tim Moffitt, Representative Jennifer Balcom, and Representative Jake Johnson. Urge them to fully fund the state's public schools. That means increasing the amount of money for public education, not diverting it to private school via vouchers. Public schools are the bedrock of our democracy. We need fully informed and well-educated citizens for our nation to thrive. Our government has a responsibility to provide a sound basic education for all our children and youth. Even though I am retired and my children and grandchildren lived out of state, I am still dependent upon the residents of this area in my daily living, and thus I'm responsible for the children of this community. Thus, it is to my benefit to look out for the common good of all. I have contacted our legislators to work toward fully funding public school education in the state budget. Again, I ask each of you to do the same. I, too, contacted our legislators, echoing Carol's message to fully fund our public schools. Together, we ask you to contact them and do the same. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Hardwell. And Ms. Judy Bonner on the upcoming budget as well.
Hi, I'm Judy Bonner, and first I'd just like to thank you for the policy links. They were on this month and it was great, so thank you. As one of the co-leaders of Public Schools Strong in Henderson County, I support fully funding public schools for many reasons, which others presented to you and will be presenting to you here today. In my opinion, you've made several decisions which show your commitment to our students. Your free breakfast and lunch program has been successful and needs to be refunded. Your calendar decisions put our students above politics. Since federal funding will no longer support our schools at COVID levels and vouchers will reduce our state allotment, Public Schools Strong is asking you to request our county commissioners to make up the difference between funding from other sources and the amount needed to fully fund our schools at the current level or higher. We will advocate for your budget requests as the commissioners decide how they will spend their money. We appreciate that your budget meetings are open. Some public school strong members will be attending the budget workshops on April 15th and 22nd and supporting your budget requests that we hope will be bold and visionary. Thank you for all you do for our students.
Thank you, Ms. Bonner. And next we have Ms. Katie Gash on the education budget. Welcome, how are you?
Doing well, how are you?
Good, good.
Good afternoon to everyone. Good afternoon. As our school year closes, and as we start to consider what changes are needed for next year, I'd like to lend my voice to the many others here today asking that this board advocate vigorously at the highest levels for the rights, the respect, the professional courtesy, and the professional compensation due to its teachers and educational support staff. We live in a country that prides itself on its market-driven capitalism. Yet we seem okay to have our teachers overworked and underpaid. And we seem okay to just let it be. And as one very sad and misguided soundbite declared some years ago, shut up and dribble, I myself feel that we as a profession are often being told to simply shut up and teach. In North Carolina, we are without a collective voice to advocate for our rights. We need you as our school board to have our backs and to be our voice. I have been a classroom teacher for almost 12 years. I became a classroom teacher as soon as my immigration status was regularized because I saw the disparities that many miss if this is all you have known. I wanted my children and their peers to see themselves in scholarship, excellence, and achievement, and to see the potential of scholarship, excellence, and achievement in themselves. I'd like to think that I have made a difference, but I will tell you that it has been at much sacrifice. We take advantage of the benevolence of our teachers. I have not taught these 12 years because I need this job. I have given these 12 years to my community as an act of love for its children and its families, and as my small contribution to bending the arc of justice just a smidgen further in the right direction. In any given week, I work at least 20 hours beyond what I'm paid for. We lost an EC teacher position last year at my school, yet our enrollment numbers grew a lot. This year, we just got word at a recent faculty meeting that our enrollment numbers are again rising, but we will not be receiving a new teacher position. Some of our sixth grade classes this year have had upwards of 30 and 34 students. We are considering possibly splitting an eighth grade position to help with our sixth grade numbers. I have heard, what can we take off of your plate? Yet it seems like more and more is being added. We do not have enough subs, and teachers are being asked to give up their planning periods to cover for their peers. We are compensated $30 or $40, but my sanity is worth much more. I am so drained and exhausted. Our support staff in the library and ISS and MTSS departments are also having to cover where subs are needed. I need to know that my school board is advocating relentlessly, unapologetically, wholeheartedly for me. This teacher needs to hear you. In closing, I do need to say this as well. It's not all about recruitment. I think the focus should also be on retention. Good teachers are leaving because they simply have nothing left in their tanks to give. I rely on my faith to fill my tank, but I also rely on my faith to set my course and to know when seasons change. We need to keep class sizes manageable. I appreciate your patience with me. We need to provide adequate support staff. We need to provide motivation for teachers to stay. And we need to pay our teachers what they are worth. And we appreciate anything that you can do to help us with that. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Gash. Mr. Joe Elliott, could talk to us about some choices. Welcome, sir.
Good afternoon. As always, thank you for your time. Last month, I briefly addressed the resume of one of the candidates seeking to be our next state superintendent of schools. And now I'd like to share additional background information on this candidate. In comments on social media, the candidate has called for, in quotes, a pay-per-view of him, former President Barack Obama, in front of a firing squad. She wrote this in a tweet in May 2020. She further stated, quote, we could make some money from televising his death. So she has also expressed support for executing President Biden, Hillary Clinton, Senator Chuck Schumer, and our own Governor, Roy Cooper. I saw a recent brief network news interview with her where she was given a chance to deny or at least walk back her past statements. She chose not to do so. So she still owns her public call for the execution of elected public officials. She is a QAnon disciple and has shared repeatedly a belief that, quote, tens of thousands of Chinese soldiers are already in Canada waiting for orders to invade the United States to help Joe Biden become president. This was said in 2020. I have to question her reasoning skills after this statement. How did tens of thousands of Chinese soldiers get into Canada undetected? And how did they get out again? She was also in Washington on January 6, 2021, at a rally that turned into an attempt to stop the lawful certification of the 2020 election by Congress. Now, I have to ask you, is this the person we want running our schools? Anyone want to publicly defend her statements and to reconcile her resume with the job she is seeking? Anyone care to defend her flagrant disrespect for our constitutional norms? I've heard members of this current school board state that they cannot vote to change our school calendar because they do not want to convey to our students that laws can selectively be ignored or circumvented. I respect that point of view. I also have to ask if her complete abandonment of a rule of law is not much more serious transgression. I simply cannot imagine putting her in charge of our kids. How do we explain to our students that her conduct is appropriate behavior when they inevitably learn of her seeming passion for murder of political opponents? How can we expect them to reconcile her participation in activities on January 6, 2021 that led to an attempt to overthrow our government? I cannot see any reason for the school board or the 8 candidates seeking to join the school board in November to support her bid to be our next state superintendent of schools. She is simply unfit and unqualified. Thank you.
Mr. Elliott. Sheila Clendenning?
Good job.
Was that it? I don't have half the reason y'all are all here to hear me try to pronounce all these names correctly, so I appreciate y'all being here. How you been, Sheila?
Doing well.
Also talking about budgeting. Thank you. Glad
Good
you're doing well.
afternoon. My 31-year career in the classrooms of public schools in Guilford and Currituck counties ended 20 years ago. But now, more than ever, I'm a committed advocate for honest, accurate, safe, fully funded public schools. My car's bumper sticker says, "Public education is the key to democracy." I also strongly believe that public ownership and management of schools immeasurably support the role of our schools as community hubs with impact far beyond just the classrooms. So my heart is broken, and at the same time, I'm outraged by what I perceive as the North Carolina General Assembly's decade-long deliberate gradual weakening of our state's once nationally admired public education system. Most recently and most egregiously, Senate Bill 406 and House Bill 823, otherwise known as the Opportunity Scholarship Program Voucher Bill, will drain, as we know, much-needed public funding to subsidize many more families' choice to use private institutions. And I echo our previous suggestions made here to invite the 3 members of our county's General Assembly delegation to defend their co-sponsorship and their enthusiastic support of this bill. Please understand that choice is important to me in many areas of my life beyond education. You have heard speakers here express the opinion that choice and competition are healthy, but apples do not compete with orange juice.
Without public oversight and adherence to at least comparable regulation, private schools cannot be considered to be in true competition with public. We know that in the next couple of weeks, you guys will be, and the administrators as well, will be approaching that daunting task of the budgeting. My question to you is, what budget areas will you be forced to slash when allocating those very scarce funds? The North Carolina Office of State Budget Management estimates that in fiscal year 26-27, Henderson County will see a budget reduction of about $2.1 million due to just the redirected dollars for vouchers. We all know that that big number represents a lot of bus drivers, teacher assistants, student meals, tutoring services, arts, athletics, etc. So I urge you and every Henderson County citizen to advocate loudly and clearly with our General Assembly to rescind or to at least drastically curtail the impact of the Opportunity Scholarship Program, and to once again fund public education at the level our children and our state's future deserve. We must encourage our county commissioners also to invest ever more robustly in our schools' infrastructure and in non-state funded staff positions and salary supplements. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Clendenning. And finally, Alex Ramirez, again on the budget. Welcome, sir. How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Very good, thank you.
Hello, my name is Alex Ramirez, and I am an MTSS TA at Upward Elementary. I'm a teacher assistant whose role is to support teachers and students. At my last staff meeting, I was told that my school is going to lose 2 teacher assistant positions. We will lose 2 full-time staff members who do so much for our school. These teacher assistants help with classroom management, they help with provide differentiated instruction, and they show care and support to students and families. They are our backup substitutes and our test proctors for the tests that the admin and the state care so much about. All these responsibilities are going to go back and placed on to the teacher. This is going to cause less planning time for the teacher, more stress, more burnout, and higher attrition rate. When I asked why we are losing 2 important members of the Upward community, I was told it was because of allotment. It was because we didn't have this number of students in previous years. I did more research and I saw the connection it had to vouchers. I saw that the new law that allows families from any socioeconomic status, even the rich, to take public money and give it to private schools. They can take our public dollars and give it to schools that can make up their own standards, make their own curriculum, and even reject students who may not be able to afford the difference of the tuition and the voucher, or because they have such high needs and need specific services. I think of the saying, the grass grows where you water it. With the new voucher law, they are drying up our schools and giving our water to private schools. I support families doing what they believe is best for their kids and being part of their students' education, but I don't support public money being taken away from our public schools that are required to meet high standards, public schools that accept all students from any background, our public schools that are going to implement a curriculum next year that follows the most up-to-date research in the science of reading and research-based teaching practices. Vouchers are hurting our students and families. I know that you have no control over vouchers on a statewide level, but I ask that in the next budget request, please vigorously and fight for us to keep all the staff that we currently have and fully fund our public schools. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Ramirez. Next, we have our consent agenda. If we can look that over, and I'll take a motion when ready.
I move we approve the consent agenda as presented.
Second?
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor? Motion passes. We have some new business, some policies recommended to be rescinded. Mr. Carl Taylor. Welcome, sir. How are you? Very good.
So as Ms. Taylor approaches, this is going to be round 2 of 3 rounds that we're looking at to take care of the old policy manual and get everything moved into the current and new policy manual that's been in existence for a couple of years now. This is batch 2 of those. You took care of the first round in your March meeting. We'll do this one in April, and then we have one more round coming up in May. If there's anything that we need to extend out beyond that, we do have time. But again, our goal is to try to get these so that we can open up the 24-25 school year under that one singular manual. So thank you, Mr. Taylor, for your work and Liz's work on this as well.
Yes, glad to be able to do it. Good evening, board members. As Mr. Garrett said, tonight I'm going to bring to you 6 of the older policies to be considered to be rescinded. And then after that, I have 2 new policies for first reading to be looked at that would then be in place of 2 additional older policies. So for the first policy to present to you tonight is policy 415, or in regards to foreign exchange students. This policy may be rescinded as it will be converted into a procedural regulation 4120-R. Any questions on this policy? Okay. The next policy then to look at is policy 450 for discipline. Policy 450 may be rescinded as the provisions are addressed in policy 4300, student behavior policies, and policy 4301, authority of school personnel. Any questions on this policy? Okay. The next one then is policy 560, use of board furnished vehicles. Policy 560 may be rescinded as the policy's provisions will be converted to a procedural regulation, 6520-R. Any questions on this policy? Okay. The next one then is policy 645, sale of items produced in the course of instruction. Policy 645 may be rescinded as the policy's provisions are no longer applicable. Any questions on this policy?
Could you possibly explain that just a tad? Just about the sale of items, what those items might be?
Yes, so this one covers either the sale of items that are owned by the district as part of it, and so that is covered in some of the other policies as well when we have surplus items that we're looking to sell or discard. And so we have a separate policy that covers that. It also talks about items that are created in the course of instruction, is what this older policy covered. And much like some of the other ones that we've looked at, it was created in 1999 and hasn't been touched since.
This would kind of be like our plant sale, would it not?
Yes, so it covers the appropriate procedure. Well, it references that, but it really doesn't get into the procedures of it.
Right.
We have a newer policy that really talks more about the procedures that go in place. Next one is policy 835, energy management. Policy 835 may be rescinded as the policy's provisions are covered in policy 9200, care and maintenance of facilities. Any questions on that policy? All right. And then the next one is policy 905, use of private vehicles to transport. Policy 905 may be rescinded as the policy's provisions will be converted to a procedural regulation, 6315-R. Any questions on that one? All right. So Chairman Egoff, that covers the 6 that are being presented tonight for rescission. And then from there, it would be the 2 newer policies.
Hey, I was going to say, I think we need to take action on the first 6. So we would take a motion. And then since the other policies in B are first reading, we'll just let you read those. So let's take action on the first 6 policies. If I could take a motion, that'd be great.
I move that we rescind all 6 policies discussed, 415, 450, 560, 645, 835, and 905.
For a second? Any discussion? Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay. Thank you, sir. Go on to B, please.
So the first policy tonight for first reading is Policy 3470/4305, Alternative Learning Program Schools. This policy addresses the school system's alternative learning programs and schools, consistent with the requirements under current state law and State Board of Education policy. This policy is similar to and is intended to supersede current policy 453, alternative education. And so, Chairman Egoff, how much more would you want me to go into detail with this policy, or is open it up for conversation at this point?
Well, sure. If we have any discussion, any questions? Okay, I think we're good.
Okay.
6125.
All right, so then the other policy is 6125, administering medicines to students. This policy addresses administering medicines to students, including standards and procedures for administering medicines, emergency medications, and student self-administration of medications, consistent with current state law. This policy addresses legal requirements and standards to reduce the potential for liability. This policy is intended to supersede current policy 421, medication administration. So any questions on this policy?
Thank you, sir. Okay. I'll take a motion for approval of reading, first reading.
Both of them, sure.
I move that we approve for first reading policy 3470 and 6125.
A second.
Any discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Thank you. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Mr. Taylor.
And now we have an audit contract for 2023-24. Mr. Bernie Sosha. How are you, sir?
Good, thanks. How are you?
Excellent. I think we're great. Thank you.
Well, I'll just look this way tonight since.
Well, is that one there?
Well, yeah, I'm included.
Oh, okay, fine. Maybe she should have sat right there, and then you could have. No, I'm just kidding.
Yes, so we have for you tonight the audit contract presenting what would have been Carlin and Anderson, now Gould Killian, for the audit of the 23-24 fiscal year. As you know, they've been doing this contract with us for quite some time now, and we find their services to be very invaluable to us, and we would certainly recommend that we would continue to use them again for the current fiscal year.
Mr. Sosha, did you do any kind of broadcast of firms to look at, or?
We did not put out an
RFP, I'm
this
sorry.
year. This year. But I do like to, whenever we get together with our Western region and we go to the conferences, we always ask other folks
Right.
how their audits are doing and what their firms are charging and how their procedures are going. And I always feel very good about what we're getting with our firm. Our price is definitely lower than some of the districts that are even smaller than we are. They've kept that very low for us.
Any other questions? Thank you, sir.
I think we need a motion.
Oh, we need a, yeah, see, let's take a motion on that one.
Okay, I move that Henderson County Public Board of Education approve the contract to audit accounts between the Henderson County Board of Public Education and Gould Killian CPA Group for the period beginning July 1st, 2023 and ending June 30th, 2024.
That's that board action requested means, right?
That was it.
Is there a second?
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Now, thank you.
Now, thank you.
Yes, sir. And School Justice Partnership. Ms. Shannon Otten. How are you, ma'am? Great, how are you? Good, thanks for coming.
So I'm happy to be here today with our Chief District Court Judge, Kim Gasperson Justice. Come on up. This year, we've already partnered together to bring truancy court to Henderson County. And so far, we've had 2 truancy court days, and they've been very successful. And now, looking to keep our kids to keep continuing to help our kids. Judge Justice has taken the lead on working to get our community stakeholders together and to create and implement effective strategies to address student conduct with the School Justice Partnership. So she's here today to talk to you a little bit about the School Justice Partnership. Chief District Court Judge Kim Gasperson Justice.
Good afternoon. I appreciate you giving me the opportunity to be here today. As most of you know, juvenile law and juvenile justice has been something that's kind of been near and dear to my heart since I took the bench. And so I was very happy when we, as a group at JCPC, wanted to fund the teen court, which has been a wonderful diversion and has been very successful here the short time that it's been in effect. And I then started seeing a lot of people in court for not sending their children to school, or the children not going to school, in both Henderson and Transylvania. And that trend was really seemed to be up since COVID. And so I'm very happy and proud of the group and the team effort of Ms. Alton and our superintendent, as well as Ms. Beaver. And I wanted to at least do a really good big shout out to these guys. They have really worked hard to get this thing up and going, and I think we're going to be pretty successful at it. So I wanted to start out by saying that. So School Justice Partnership. It is something that was really came to be as a result of things that started happening when we started to go to the Raise the Age issue back in 2000. And yeah, why don't you do it? Shannon was kind enough to help me get this presentation up and going. So it was in 2017 when they started talking about raising the age from 16 to 18 for our juvenile crimes. There was a lot of discussion about, well, this is going to mean a whole lot of people, more juveniles in our juvenile court system. And what started really happening is as they started putting together data about, well, where are we getting these juvenile offenders? The data showed that 40% of the people that were, or the juveniles that were coming into the North Carolina juvenile court system came from our school system. Which I think most people that know the school system, have been around the school system for a while, I think that they didn't see that as something that they thought was new data. But for a lot of other people, I think it was something that they had not envisioned. So the people that were working on the Raise the Age issue started talking with the administrative office of the courts about, well, what can we do to help in this transition? What can we do to better our juvenile court justice system? And so the School Justice Partnership is a result of that. And so what it really does is it creates a mid-range way of dealing with minor offenses. And I know a lot of people are, they think, oh my gosh, it's going to take law enforcement out of the equation. That is not what it is meant to be or do at all. Serious serious crimes, those kinds of things, all those things will continue to be dealt with by law enforcement, including emergencies and all kinds of things like that. And so they put a group together at the administrative office of the courts, and they started looking at ways that they could deal with the things that they were seeing out of this study. Not only were they seeing that about 40% of the referrals came out of the school systems, but they also, when they started looking deeper and starting doing more research, they found out that several things were happening now that that 40% rate was there. One of them was there was a really high rate of recidivism for juveniles that, if they were going and being referred to the juvenile justice system, they were much more likely to reoffend instead of going and trying to use what community efforts we have in place. In Henderson County, we're very lucky. We do have a lot of community partners that will be are doing a great job helping us out with some of these issues. The other thing that it showed was it was a much higher dropout rate. People would get in trouble, the kids would get in trouble in school, and then they kind of got identified, I assume, as somebody that was in the juvenile justice system, and a lot of those kids dropped out. And so the school justice partnership basically is meant to transform the relationship between police officers and students from authority and punishment to mentor, to be a mentor and to be restorative. In other words, we want to build good response, a good partnership between our school resource officers and our students and the administration. So what that study also said was that the chief district court judge, since juvenile court is held in district court, was going to be kind of not really expected, but there was a big push for the chief district court judges to truly go out in their communities and try to see if we could create that same school justice partnership that they have done in other parts of the state very successfully. I think Mr. Garrett, when he and I were talking, I think McDowell County has been very successful, and they have done that for many years now and have done a very good job. New Hanover County, which, while it is a much better, bigger county, not better, bigger county than Henderson County, has had a tremendous success in this school justice partnership over the years, being led by Judge Corpening. And in fact, if the school board is on board with us trying to get this thing up and running here in Henderson County, has very generously offered, he is still on the bench after all these years, and he has generously offered to come up and help our team get our school justice partnership started. So, Ms. Alton, if we can go to the stakeholders. We went through the stakeholders. The stakeholders are, of course, the system, school administrators, law enforcement, juvenile justice personnel, and of course, us, the court officials. Juvenile justice has been pushing this for a period of time. A lot of them worked in McDowell County. They saw the success in McDowell County. There's been a huge success in Gaston County, where they've done a really good job. And so these are the people that are really going to be part of the school justice partnership team. Of course, the chair, Mr. Egoff, or superintendent. I'm glad that Mr. Campbell is here. We've got the district attorney and the sheriff and the chiefs of police. We've got the supervisors and school resource officers. As I said, the chief juvenile court counselors have been pushing for this for a while. The social services has been not only very helpful for us in truancy court, but they have also agreed to provide us a liaison. So bottom line, those are the key players of this. Core principles of why they say this works. That student conduct is best addressed through the classroom, in school, family, and community support strategies to maintain a positive and supportive climate for minor offenses. And, the response should be reasonable and consistent and fair, with appropriate consideration of relevant factors, including age and the severity of the conduct. And basically, holding the students accountable for their misconduct in a graduated, consistent response model that we as a group and a team think would be appropriate. And that would mean if there were services, if the child had some mental health issues that were not being addressed, we would make sure that they get to the mental health service providers that we have here. If we have we have lots of other really great diversion programs that are available here, including the teen court. And those are the ways that we try to address the changing of how juveniles respond to something that happens at school. And instead of walking away with a negative response, they walk away with a positive response. And that means that we connect these, as a group, connect these juveniles with the services that we have available to see if we can correct the issue instead of just punish the issue and move it on to the next time that the juvenile has the exact same issue again, which I see very often. So that's kind of what it is. There is one of the first things that we would have to do would be a kickoff stakeholder meeting, and as I said, Judge Corpening has very graciously said that he can get with our team, and I would hope that could get some, if we have positive response tonight, that we can get that team up and get people identified. We realize it's already April. There is a big summer ahead of us to be able to plan and see if we can get all our team members and stakeholders involved so that we could probably come up with some sort of partnership by the first of the school year next year. There are the administrative office of the courts feels, I mean, they have put one person on this trying to get this really pushed out to all the counties, and like I said, about 40% now of the last data that I saw was 40% of our counties in North Carolina are already participating in this program. I would very much like to be able to let Henderson County be the first of our 3 counties, which I'll try to get there because we do have the most cases, and see if we can get this up and running. The sheriff and his staff are very much part of this. There are some memorandums of understanding that would need to be done. I'm sure Mr. Campbell has seen a few of those in his day. I can already tell you that the sheriff's attorney has already reviewed it and said he has some changes to make. So that, of course, needs to happen as well. But I have met with all the other people that we have on the team. We'd also have to, be looking for people to give us some good ideas about what other services and stuff that maybe we haven't identified for students. But I'm here to ask the board to really partnership with us in this, what I think is a very important way that we need to move forward with our justice system in juvenile cases. I see a lot of the same kids. Some of them, their recidivism just seems to get worse and worse, and then I see some juveniles in court that I think if they had the support of this type of team and this type of approach, then I think that they could really turn out to be some fine, law-abiding, upstanding citizens for our county, and not just be a statistic on a dropout number or somebody that unfortunately we might see in an adult court. So that's why I'm here. Like I said, this has been a big year for me and my job. We've been really happy working on these other things. For some of y'all that don't know, automation is coming to Henderson County and for District 42 starting in July. Everything at the courthouse will be electronic. we are doing e-filings and all those kinds of things, and we're moving towards that as well. But this is something that I really think that we need to try to get going before the first of the year. I've gone over and talked with Ms. Alton, which again, I can't say enough good things about what a precious asset she is for the Henderson County school system. She's always been very supportive of anything that I've worked with her on, and Mr. Garrett was very supportive at the meeting that we had. So this is my contact information. I'm happy to talk to you individually if you see me out, or if you'd like to send me an email or whatever, but I'm happy to take any questions right now.
I don't have a question. I just want to say thank you. I see the need for this and the work that you've put into it in the community, and I thank you so much. I think it's a wonderful idea. It's a great idea.
I'm so glad to see someone doing this, and I know you've been a part of our community, and your children have gone through the school system, so you know more than most about the issues that we have, and I'm just so excited about this possibility, and thank you.
Absolutely.
I was just going to say, I love that after all these years, you still see that positive light that we hope that we see when we look at our kids all the time. So, thank you.
Well, I tell myself every time I go into juvenile court that I'm going to have at least one good event happen, and most of the time that does happen, and that's my hope that we can make a difference. I think that's the goal of the justice system, as well as all our community partners. We just want to be able to, growing up's hard, and it's our job as a group to see if we can get them through it and produce the best possible children. I think they get a wonderful education here. I got a wonderful education here. My children got a wonderful education here, and my husband. And we really want to give back and based on our years of experience, see if we can try to move us to a next era of a different way of thinking about things.
Well, I think my parents, they told me you don't have to be an expert in everything. Surround yourself with experts. And that's what I believe you are. So this is a great idea and a great program, and we would all be for it. So do we need to?
This does not take any formal motion at this point. We would obviously move forward with the planning phase, work on that memorandum of understanding. A lot of these elements we're already doing in bits and pieces. This codifies that and puts it all in one place. And what I really love about this approach, and Judge Justice has been very much proactive here, is it gives us a chance as a community to be proactive. A lot of times the education world doesn't understand the justice world and vice versa. Yep. So this lets the right and the left hand work in concert with one another. Thank you for your advocacy for our district and our community and our kids. And it's going to take somebody's energy like Judge Justice to pull all these people together. And I think you'll absolutely get it done. I have no doubt. And you've got our full support, because what we see is the benefits of getting them at 15, 16, 17 years old, when we all can wrap around them and still have an impact on that. So I've seen it work in other districts, been a part of these things, and it really will give you a chance to change the trajectory of a lot of students and really then see that culture build in your community. So I'm excited to offer my efforts to this, absolutely.
Appreciate all of y'all. I will say for a shout out to Teen Court. When Juvenile Crime Prevention first had the idea of giving money to a group to start that program, I think everybody was a little hesitant, kind of like here, like we're happy to do it, but we don't really know what to do. But I will tell you that program, in the short time it has been in effect, they started out wanting to have one trial per night. When I say trial, the kids actually produce the kids. I'd always encourage y'all to go over there and check that out one night. But now they have so many referrals. The kids want to be a part of this so much that they are doing 2 a night and still have people on the waiting list. So I think that these kinds of things are just a great way to, as Mr. Egoff said, connect the dots between the justice system and what the kids need to learn about the justice system. They learned a lot about civics during that teen court. So, and best I can tell, I don't think we've had anybody that's been referred for any other thing that's gone through teen court. So I think that goes to the recidivism. So, but I will say this before I leave. AOC and the Chief Justice has said that the Chief District Court Judge is the convener of this, but I'm not supposed to be the leader. So I just will tell you that when we get our team together, I'm going to be looking for somebody to jump up and be the team leader. So, but we appreciate all your work, and I appreciate y'all having me tonight.
Thank you. Thank you, Ms. On.
Thank you. And there is on that more information link you can click, and it takes you to the website as well. Thank you.
Thank you. Childcare rates, sir. Mr. Scott Rhodes, welcome. How are you?
Thank you, sir. I'm doing well.
Very good.
Members of the board, I bring to your attention this evening the need to look at raising child care rates in an effort for cost recovery measures due just to the fact of the increase in salaries and benefits over the last 2 to 3 years. We've been fortunate to keep our child care rates the same since they changed. I think it was a little over 3 years ago due to the fact that we had federal money coming from COVID money and DHHS. That money is going away this summer, and therefore us to be able to run the program without being at a loss, we are proposing a rate increase of $5 for the PSAM program, a $10 increase to the PSPM after-school program, and the Summer Plus program that we run, that would be an increase of $15. And I'd be happy to answer any questions that you have.
And you're talking per week?
That's weekly.
Per week, yes, sir, thank you.
Any questions?
So you're really talking an extra $1 a day for morning and $2 a day for PM.
Yes, ma'am. Yeah, we only, in the mornings, it's a much shorter time period than in the afternoons. We stay open until around 6 o'clock in the afternoons for 3 hours.
Right.
But this is due to the fact that we cannot sustain the program and not lose money without raising rates. And I don't know if, Mr. Egoff, maybe you were on the board, Ms. Caskey, when child care was actually losing money. We were in a situation where we really wanted to make sure that we never put ourselves in a position again where we got to a place where we were not self-sustaining. So in an effort to avoid that same mistake, we are bringing this to your attention now.
I think if Mr. Craven was here, he would say something about that. So, but I will say two things. One, what I don't like is the reason why we're having to do this. If it becomes a vicious cycle, if you say, well, I had to raise rates because the salaries were raised, and then you're like, well, I need to have my salary raised so I can afford whatever, and then it just, so that's what I don't like. But I will say this, that's the best game in town. I mean, there's nothing close, and with the standards that this has and the people involved with it, there's nothing close to this. And we're not trying to make money. We're trying to break even. And if you're talking $5 a week and even $15 a week, if you're talking $60 to $75 a month, I challenge anybody to find something better, especially with the people that are involved. So, unfortunate, but I understand.
And that Summer Plus program is awesome. We're just not taking the children and they're staying at school all day. They are going on all kinds of trips and activities, and it's an awesome program. I just wish we could have it in more locations, as
absolutely,
I've shared with you, but anyway.
I think for the public's understanding too, this is a self-sustaining program. We do not get any outside funding to run this program. This is an enterprise fund. So we have used those federal dollars as far as we could stretch them. And this also is inclusive of the mandated raises we know are coming in the second year of the biennial budget. So we will not be bringing you back anything with that raise as well. This is encompassing of how we can break or come as close as we can to breaking even with just this increase.
Any other questions, discussion? I'll take a motion.
I move that the Henderson County Board of Education approve the weekly child care rate increase starting for the 24-25 school year.
Second. Any further discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Ms. Rhodes.
Capital updates. I guess we need to pull that out a little bit so we can bypass each other. Anyway, Mr. Carl Taylor, hi, welcome again.
Yes. Good evening again. For our capital update tonight, I'm going to begin with a couple of projects that are Henderson County Public School projects. The first one is the gymnasium HVAC project, where we're looking to install air conditioning in the gyms at East Henderson, North Henderson, and West Henderson. Again, this is using money from the ESSER funds, or the federal funds. And so we're in the process of finalizing the RFP so that can go out for bid. And hopefully by the time we meet again, I can give you an update on how that bid process went for us. And our goal is to hopefully get that work started over the summer months, of course. The next project is intercom and VoIP installation at Etowah Elementary. That is part of our safety work that we're doing within our schools. The intercom part, that is an intercom that is outdated at Etowah and hard to find any parts. And so this is just trying to replace it before it quits working altogether. And then the VoIP does install phones in our classrooms to where they have access to outside lines. That helps with efficiency, but also is a safety feature as well. When we look at our MRTS projects, again, these are projects through Henderson County, and the first one is our HVAC replacement at Atkinson. The bid, there was a first bid that went through, and at the bid opening, we did not receive enough bids, and so I had to go back out for bid, and so that is still an open bid at this point in time. And so the next bid closing date is in a couple of weeks, and at that time, hopefully a bid can be awarded, and then that work can begin over the summer as well. Roof replacement work continues at West Henderson High School. That is a very large project, and so as has been the case the last couple of months, that work continues, as does the HVAC control upgrades at several of our elementary schools. In terms of Upward Elementary, again, as we know, the secure entry has been completed for some time, but the second part of that project is the cafeteria expansion. So I have a few pictures that show the update with that project. And then the final one is the new front office and building connection at West Henderson. And again, that is a large project that continues to be in progress, and some pictures to show on that one as well. In terms of Upward, the first picture you see there with the dirt, that is what I showed at last month's meeting. And so since that picture, you can see now that the concrete has been poured, and I believe the metal has been delivered so that the framing part can begin as well. There's a couple of pictures that'll follow, but you can also look on the left side of that picture where you see plywood up where there used to be two windows. Those are going to be the pathways that connect the current cafeteria space into the new cafeteria. And so these pictures show it a little bit better, where you see the one up towards the front end of the building, and then the second one there as well. For West Henderson, here's just a couple of pictures from the roofing project, where you see the workers continuing to remove the old roofing material. And so that is, as you can see, those pictures kind of tell a story there. Definitely labor-intensive work to remove that old roofing. And when that has been replaced, this is what the final product does look like in the areas that have been finished at this point in time. As we look at the new front office area, so the first picture you see there on the far left, that is where the new lobby and new main entrance for West Henderson is going to be located. So you can see that the grading work has already been completed in that area, and preparing to start the process of pouring footers. That is all now fenced in, so if you drive up there, all you will see is fencing surrounding that area. The two pictures beside it are the interior area of the old office office and where the teacher boxes were kept, conference room. So the middle one is where kind of that center part area was at, where it's already been kind of taken apart. And then the last picture is where it used to be 2 staff restrooms. And so those walls have been removed and preparing to build new restrooms there within that office area. All right, so any questions? It is very exciting, and so look forward to giving you some updated pictures next month, and we'll just kind of continue to follow the progress at both of those larger projects, but then also those smaller ones as well. All right. Yep. Have a great evening.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Taylor.
Financial statements. Bernie Sosha again. Welcome again.
Yeah, I thought Dr. Revis was going to give it, so she was getting up.
Give it to her.
And a couple reports for you this evening for financial reports, local current expense and other restricted funds through March 31st. Report that we have received revenues totaling $31,904,000, and our expenditures to date have been $25,173,000. Again, the gap in there is because we only have 1 more month of revenue from the county, and then we'll be done for the year because we get it in the first 10 months. Everything is on budget as from the initial budget that we presented in the fall. The other report for the capital outlay fund, as of March 31, our revenues, again with 1 month from the county remaining, $1,610,000, and our expenditures are at $1,019,000 there. And for the last quarter, since the last time we gave a capital report, we've spent $199,053 on the capital projects that Mr. Taylor was not talking about because those are all the MRTS money. So ours are all internal, not as exciting. All right, I'll answer any questions if you have any.
Any questions?
All right, thank you.
Sir. Finally, general operations. Mr. Garrett, sir.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, members of the board. We have a lengthy list this month because we've got a lot of things that are about to break wide open and celebrate. So if you'll bear with me, our 24-25 kindergarten registration is open. You know, I like to emphasize the class of 2037 is who will be joining us next year. So these youngsters will graduate in 2037. We try to imagine where we will be in 2037. That's interesting to think about as well. But if there's anyone that you know looking to register, you can let them contact their home school or where they're zoned, or they can jump online on our website and find out how to register there. We're also happy to answer any questions. April is School Library Month and Occupational Therapy Month. We have our budget workshop that's scheduled for April the 15th. That will be here in the boardroom at 9 o'clock. This will be a continuation of the preliminary budget that we presented to the Board of Commissioners back in January. And we'll finalize what we will then submit for the board to consider at their we have to submit that to the Board of Commissioners in May. April 18th is our NC Scholars Luncheon at 11:30 at Blue Ridge Conference Hall at Blue Ridge Community College. Our Special Olympics of Henderson County Spring Games is at 9:30 on April the 25th. It will be at East Henderson High School. If it does happen to rain, May 3rd is the rain date. I just want to brag on our folks who host our Special Olympics here. It is an outstanding, outstanding event that is celebrated by the entire community.
Can I ask a question about that?
Yes.
Is it 9 or 9:30? I know it says 9:30. I have 9 on my phone. But it is 9:30?
9:30.
Okay, thank you. Sorry to interrupt.
Come early, get a good spot for the parade, because the parade's always open, the opening athletes parade, so make sure you can get there early and get a good slot. NC Scholars again will be, annual leave day is on April the 26th. That's no school for traditional and early college calendars. April the 30th is our 2024 education celebration, where we honor our educators who will be going into the Hall of Fame and also our Teachers of the Year, and that will be at 5:30 at Jeter Mountain Farm. Top Scholars Banquet will be at 6 o'clock on May the 2nd, and that'll be at Blue Ridge Community College as well. May the 3rd is School Lunch Hero Day, so we want to celebrate those folks who keep us fed and take care of our kids each and every day in the cafeterias, and our school nutrition professionals. May the 6th through the 10th is National Teacher Appreciation Week. In May, we will be touring the Hendersonville High School, Rugby Middle School, and Sugarloaf Elementary. May 8th is National School Nurse Day, and we're blessed to have nurses in all of our schools, thanks to our partnership with the County Health Department. The Teacher of the Year Luncheon will be at 12 o'clock on May the 9th, and that is at the main event here downtown. Our HCPS retirement celebration will be that evening at 5:30, May the 9th, and that'll be at the same venue, the main event here on Main Street. CTE Scholars Reception will be 12:30 at Blue Ridge Community College on May the 13th. Also on May the 13th will be your regular board meeting for May here in the boardroom, beginning at 4 o'clock. And then the big events, or the marquee events for the year, are high school graduations. So we will be graduating on May the 24th. Henderson County Early College will be at 5 o'clock. Hendersonville High School will be at 6 o'clock. East Henderson High School will be at 7 o'clock. Henderson County Career Academy will be at 7 o'clock. North Henderson High School will be at 6 o'clock. And West Henderson High School will be at 7:30. Those will be at their respective campuses, and we certainly look forward to celebrating the class of 2024. Wow, it's hard to think about that as well. And actually, I will be at West Henderson because I have a member of the class of 2024. So it's for the first time in my long educational career in superintendency, I will be shaking the hand of my daughter. So that's going to be pretty exciting. We just hope she makes it. So keep your fingers crossed. So thank you for indulging me in that lengthy information, but certainly I think it's important to get out, let folks know, and come out and celebrate our kids. Thank you.
You said we're going to look forward to the graduation. I have a daughter that's a senior, and she'll be graduating. I don't think she's looking forward to it. I mean, I think she's going to be a little sad.
It's a mixed feeling, very much a mixed feeling, but certainly excited to celebrate. How about that? We want to look forward to celebrating the class of 2024.
Perfect. Thank you. Anything else? Any questions, discussion, comments? Take a motion to adjourn.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
I guess none opposed. Thank you.